The Supplemental Nutrition Fund, an essential program aiding more than 40 million Americans, is set to expire. What our government has said over the past week about a potential extension of the program, and another major humanitarian crisis abroad. Last night, President Trump sat down with 60 Minutes correspondent Nora O'Donnell to discuss. More than 40 million Americans are bracing for what could be a trying couple of weeks, as the government program known as SNAP, or previously referred to as food stamps, is set to expire. Now, this should not be a partisan issue, despite the Trump administration's refusal to release essential funds intended for this exact purpose. But whether the president or anyone on either end of the aisle wants to dispute the legality or the necessity within the fine print of a multi-billion-dollar emergency fund, reality still exists. And that reality is that none of the bozos on either side are worried about where their child's next meal is coming from. And starving people is rightfully our opening story of the night. It's deplorable to think that people claiming to help those in need can so easily turn a blind eye and spin it into a separate issue that benefits their own political agenda. But we do have some positive news on the horizon. Damn. Any chance they might need some government food assistance? Well, fortunately, we here at Release the Factions and AT News know just where to go. Canada. 11 years ago. I mean, our Secretary of Health has a more questionable lung capacity than Darth Vader, who coincidentally actually might be his boss. God, I hope this isn't the end. The government's reluctance to release federal funds is interesting, but they're not really big on releasing anything at the moment. In the 2024 fiscal year, federal spending on the SNAP program was around $99.8 billion. However, states are all running into the same issues as they prepare for this loss of assistance. The USDA secretary acknowledged already that there is a contingency fund, but that it wouldn't even cover half of the $9.2 billion required for just the month of November alone. As this crisis continues, our elected officials continue to mostly point fingers. This morning alone, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries dodged direct questions regarding Democrats' willingness to extend the shutdown through the busy Thanksgiving travel holiday, still simply blaming Republicans for everything. However, in a more bipartisan show of support, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman actually condemned many in his own party for approaching this humanitarian issue with the, quote, wrong tactics. He argued that if the shutdown continues, no Americans actually in need would receive a SNAP benefit continuation, nor an ongoing health care plan many of his colleagues have supported throughout the course of the shutdown. Senator Fetterman is one of 10 Democrats that have now vocally supported a clean CR bill. He said that while he still 100% does support the goals of solving this impending healthcare crisis, this is simply not the way to do it. And the travel season rapidly approaches. We need to keep watching to see how many of his Democratic colleagues find themselves in similar crossroads. Another major humanitarian crisis abroad, amidst a mass execution and raid in Sudan. Now, 2 years into the conflict, the Rapid Support Forces, known as the RSF, have taken the city of El Fasher in what has now proven to be a bloodbath in the region.
The Sudan Doctors Network says at least 1,500 people were killed in just 3 days as residents tried to flee the city. It called the attacks a deliberate campaign of killing and extermination.
Aerial images have shown a city painted in blood in the wake of the violence. In what is being called blood on the hands of the international community, around 460 people were killed at a maternity hospital, including the workers on site. Many have called this a deliberate targeting of citizens, as only a few thousand people have managed to escape the region alive.
Earlier this week, in a horrific massacre, hundreds of patients were brutally killed in a maternity hospital in Fasher. According to the World Health Organization, at least 460 patients and their companions in El Fasher Saudi Hospital were killed by RSF fighters.
As families attempt to flee, reports of missing people are increasing rapidly. Specifically, mothers, wives, and children have reported men have been abducted by the insurgent forces. Now, as the RSF prepares for an impending battle, or liberation as they're framing it, in the city of Al Abeid, thousands still remain vulnerable. Currently, over 70,000 people have been displaced just over the past week, and thousands more are still unaccounted for, with many people suspected to be hiding in nearby towns or have been captured. Most of the people at this time that have been confirmed to have made it out alive are mothers and children. And though that may be encouraging, many of them have reported seeing their male family members either being dragged away or even killed in front of them. Already 375,000 people in the region have been living in famine conditions, but this has now significantly escalated, with an additional 6.3 million at severe risk of hunger and famine. The RSF is under active investigation for war crimes, with the International Criminal Court comparing the events to a broader pattern of violence in the Darfur region. This has been a long road for the people in the region, and the next week will definitely prove to be one of the most important for everyone affected. We will continue to keep you updated. Again, this is Colin Moore with AT News.